Hey guys, welcome to the Kick Out at 2 podcast, episode 4.
We made it.
Made it to episode 4. Doing pretty well. Really enjoying doing this, having a good time. I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it, getting to listen to it. I've had people actually reach out to me and tell me that they were having a good time listening to it, which was surprising. I figured, we'd get some likes here and there on stuff, but I didn't think we'd get a lot of actual feedback, which is cool. And if you have any feedback, please give it to us.
Yeah, you can catch us on Twitter at KOAT
Podcast.
I don't know why I always botched that. KOAT Podcast. And I mean, if nothing else, we at least made it to California. Got friends out in California listening to us.
Yeah.
It's cool.
All over, yeah. So, not a lot going on in wrestling right now. Other than Young Bucks signing to Ring of Honor, which is huge.
Yeah, that's a huge signing for Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and which they needed.
Yeah,
I feel like, and then just the leeway the Bucks have, which they're still allowed to work PWG and New Japan and stuff like that. So they're pretty much good as gold. Yeah, they never have to. They'll probably end up like they'll end up the new generation of Sting, where it takes them forever to get to like the WWE, and they'll never have to touch it if they don't want to.
Yeah, that's even if they decide to go, because at this point they're making
they're providing for their family, and as long as this Bullet Club stuff's riding high, they don't have to worry about anything. And
I feel like even after Bullet Club, Young Bucks have been they've made such an impact. They're
smart enough on their merchandising,
and just how they work. They're not doing any they're doing their high spots, but it's nothing crazy, like super duper crazy. So they're saving themselves. There's some longevity to the Young Bucks for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can think of. Poor Kota Ibushi from Japan, New Japan, and DDT's injured right now, which bums me out because he's one of my favorites. Herniated disc in his neck, I believe, is what it was. So they'll have to get that fixed. He's going to be out indefinitely, which we wish him a speedy recovery.
I got to check out the Resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah, that's what the other thing we wanted to talk about.
That movie was absolutely incredible. If you watched Beyond the Mat, completely forget about everything you learned or saw in Beyond the Mat, and go watch the Resurrection of Jake the Snake Roberts. You can tell they put a lot of time into it. I think they made it over the course of 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, you have like appearances from Scott Hall, DDP's in it, Jake Roberts is in it, and I think there's some other wrestlers in there. If it's playing in your city, I know they're doing select showings. Go. There's a Q&A after. Scott Hall's on select dates.
DDP was there.
DDP was actually in the theater when we watched, and then he did the Q&A. Jake Roberts was not there. He was in New Zealand. But DDP was open, answered any question anybody had. And a lot of them actually pertained to the movie. It didn't go too deep into WCW or wrestling or anything, which was cool. But yeah, definitely go check out that movie if you get the chance. It's amazing. Buy it when it comes out. Support that cause. It's great.
And let's see what else. This Saturday, by the time this comes out, there's going to be at the historic fairgrounds in Nashville a pretty big wrestling show. Mick Foley will be there.
It's a night with Foley. You got Foley, Ricky Morton, Tracy Smothers, Mickey James.
Who else was there? A lot of
Chase Stevens.
Yeah. There was another.
James Storm was on the flyer, but
I think James Storm's still contracted to be there, even though he's like with NXT and everything. I think he's still showing up. So, yeah, I'm not sure how much it is, but it'll be on Saturday night, and go support local wrestling.
Yeah, it'll be a good time for sure. Mick Foley, I saw his stand up. It's great. If he does anything close to that, even just being around Mick Foley's a great time. He seems to bring out the best in wrestlers and wrestling fans. Yeah,
and he I believe this week he wrote something about his support of independent wrestling, which you should go check out because, I mean, if you've ever read anything Mick Foley's written, it's awesome.
Yeah, he's all about the underdogs and supporting those that really deserve it. So
yeah, if you can still find the Summer of Punk DVDs, his involvement in that when CM Punk was with Ring of Honor and everything, he's got a lengthy little bit in that, cutting some promos with him that was really awesome, which I didn't think I'd end up plugging Summer of Punk. That just popped into my head. But if you can find it on Amazon or eBay or whatever, definitely watch it because it's awesome. And Mick Foley just rules. And hopefully one day we'll get to talk to him here on the podcast.
Hey, speaking of plugs, even though it looks like the Fed shut him down temporarily.
Yeah, we're not sure what's going on. What a Maneuver only has their Uppercut t-shirt on the website right now, but we still support them. And if you want to support them and get the Cesaro section signs, and get a pretty sweet uppercut t-shirt, go to whatamaneuver.net, or you can follow them on Twitter and Instagram at WA Maneuver. They're still our brothers, and we hope we know they'll just come out with more sick merchandise. So if anything came legally that we're unaware of, for them to have to take it down, they'll push past it and continue to supply good quality wrestling t-shirts to us all.
And not to cause a conflict of interest here, but I just got a great shirt in the mail from Big Boot Leg Drop. Support those guys. I just got the Iron Sheik shirt, so those guys did kind of a flash sale, so that was cool.
Yeah, and always go to Pro Wrestling Tees and support all the wrestlers that go straight to them. Yep. Which we've got some guests today who actually, one of them has shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees. Jeremiah Plunkett.
You can access his t-shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees at prowrestlingtees.com/TheUntouchables.
The Untouchables is former tag team, and he said you can't go back and change that, which you'll hear him talk about on the podcast. Actually, a really fun interview today.
Yeah, we had him and Buzz Dupp. Buzz talks about his time with the circus, which he said was actually quite uneventful. So,
and we talk about peacocks.
Yep.
And
Tracy Smothers and Ricky Morton are brought up once again.
Tracy Smothers, Ricky Morton, peacocks, and
Dutch Mantel.
So if you like any of those or all of those things, you're in for a good one today.
I wish we would have recorded the conversation about cereal, though.
We'll get that next time, because they're definitely coming back, because that was an awesome time. One more thing. I mentioned talking about it last week, so I'll go ahead and say a few things. I kind of wanted to talk about some action figures and get a little nerdy about that. Mattel is releasing a really, really awesome line of figures that they've been showcasing. I think it was, New York Comic Con or something?
I think
maybe
that's
is when they came out.
Release everything.
Yeah, they've got a lot of legends coming out. They've got if you're into like the 80s, early 90s WWF, they've got like an IRS elite figure that looks awesome. Umaga's getting a figure.
I know you're stoked
through them. I'm very excited about that.
I remember picking up a Jax Umaga for you.
Yeah, you got me that Jax one. I still got it. I've got to set him back up. I took him down for the Halloween decorations. I got to put... I'm going to put him and Armando right next to the Mattel one because it looks beautiful. I just picked up the Dean Malenko elite figure, which is great. I'm glad they made that, and it also made me really, really wish that they could sign a Legends deal with some of the older luchadors and Japanese wrestlers. I would kill to have an Ultimo Dragon Mattel elite figure or Psychosis.
I would do some things for
La Parka, yes. That would be great. So hopefully,
Man, can you imagine like a Rey Mysterio or Rey Mysterio Psychosis or a Rey Mysterio and La Parka battle pack?
That would be cool. So awesome. Maybe if we're putting it out there into the universe, it'll come to be. Also, Tatanka signed a Legends deal.
That's awesome.
Saw that.
I would love a Tatanka figure.
Yeah, that would be awesome too, and we probably will get one now.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to go too long with this because we got a pretty good interview. So
also, if anybody out there finds the mystery mini Funkos, the Iron Sheik or Ultimate Warrior, you get an extra one. Holler at your boy.
Yeah, and I'm looking for the Ric Flair and also the Iron Sheik.
Yeah.
And if you find the Hulk Hogan one, please send us Instagram pictures or stuff on Twitter of you throwing it in the trash.
Yeah, throw it in the toilet, throw it in a fire, shit on it, I don't care.
Because we fucking hate Hulk Hogan around here at the Kick Out at 2 podcast, and we wish him nothing but ill.
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and lead into our interview with Jeremiah Plunkett and
good old buzzed up.
Buzzed up. We'll see y'all later. Hey guys, welcome to the Kick Out at 2 podcast. I am Christopher, the Wilkman Wilkins, as always, here with Righteous Jesse Butler.
How's it going, guys?
We got us a couple people to interview today.
That's right. We got Jeremiah Plunkett and Buzz Dupp here hanging out with us tonight.
How y'all doing?
I'm doing good, guys.
Doing good. Thank you for having us.
No problem. How was the drive from Murfreesboro?
Not too bad.
I slept most of
the time.
Shorter than the drive from Clarksville.
I had to pay my dues to the veteran and, let him sleep in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
Man, so, how you guys been? I haven't really sat down and talked to JP in a couple of years, and I don't think really Buzz and I have ever hung out except for maybe once in the car.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Things going all right, man. Staying busy. I'm coming back from a shoulder injury. Things have heated up. I think in half a year I've already taken 60 or 70 dates. So I've been really, really busy. And got Buzzy coming with us a little bit now, too.
Where are you guys going? World tour?
Yeah, world tour. Worldwide. I mean, our normal Fridays are in Tullahoma, Tennessee, and then our Saturdays are different places. I'm doing a lot of Kentucky and Illinois. And Buzzy?
I'm just doing local stuff right now. I'm too fat and out of shape to keep traveling.
So, did some research since we haven't talked in a while, and saw where you did the TNA gut check. Pretty big stuff. How was that? We touched base on that a little bit earlier, but
yeah, that was that was probably about 4 or 5 years ago now. I did a gut check down in Gainesville, Georgia. It was a non-televised, so it was at a house show. We had about 32 people, I think, did the tryout.
Right.
It was a good learning experience. It got my foot in the door at OVW, which was good. Obviously didn't get signed or anything, but no, it was a good learning experience, and I got to network with people like Brian Hebner and Simon Diamond, and which led me to hook up with Al Snow and stuff like that. So it was good. Learned a lot.
Awesome.
That's pretty cool. And this is the second person we've had come through talk about Al Snow on the podcast too.
Yeah, Jason
James was talking about him too. So
some pretty good things to say about Al.
Yeah, is he a decent guy?
Al's a great guy. He sees the business a lot deeper than most people do. So sometimes when he gives you critiques, it's hard to understand them.
Right.
Until you're on your way home, then you're like, shit, that's what he meant.
That's slow burn.
Yeah, no matter how good the match was, he would always have something, which I liked. And it got to the point where he'd give so much, I'd go, hey, Al, how about this? Give me homework. Give me one thing. And so I'd have him give me one thing every week to work on. And I'd keep working on that. And he's actually the guy who had me start doing the punch as a finish. The guy who wanted me to really pursue doing the throwback wrestling gimmick.
Okay.
So Al's helped me a lot.
That's awesome. I would love to just sit down and pick his brain for a while.
You'd leave confused and enlightened all at the same time.
I don't doubt it. So if I'm not mistaken, Buzz trained or helped train you, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That is correct.
Who else had a hand in training you?
Buzzy, you want to take this since you were there?
All right.
There's another guy, named Mike Woods.
All right.
Local talent. And then I know when I moved away, due to personal reasons, he went with Lee Condry and Quentin Charisma.
Okay.
And that really helped him out.
Yeah, I remember Quentin Lee from, what was it, HWA, and I remember watching Mike Woods on NWA Main Event way back when, so Mike Woods was kind of the guy in Main Event for a while.
Yeah.
Mike Woods and Jeff Daniels, really, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Jeff Daniels had a firm hold on that TV title for a while, and a death grip.
Probably still got it.
It is. Last time I was at his house, I saw it. Yeah. It's still there. He had a death grip on that, and then Mikey had a pretty good hold on that Mid-America title.
Yeah.
Until Buzzy got it from him.
Yeah.
All right, so who trained you, Buzz?
That is a story in itself. I always say the guy he got me in the business. His name was Michael Satterfield. His wrestling name was Desperado. He never really trained me. He kind of showed me how to bump.
Okay.
And then kicked my ass for about a month. And then
sounds familiar.
Yeah. Yeah. And then left me. And I was too stupid to go home. So I continued training with Tim Scruggs for a while. And then I got on the road and kind of learned from different people that way.
Right on.
So,
you guys both grew up wrestling fans, or?
Oh yeah.
Without
Saturday
a doubt.
morning, Memphis TV, 9:00 every Saturday morning. When I was growing up, it was on 9:00. But yeah, every Saturday morning. I still remember. I still remember when Jamie Dundee got his neck broke on TV. So
Jamie Dundee. I feel like he's kind of resurfacing. Well, he never really went away, but I feel like...
Yeah, I mean, Jamie's a coin flip. You could... he calls himself Jamie Lottery Ticket Dundee now because, you 50-50 chance he's going to show up.
Oh, man.
But he admits to it.
But he admits
yeah,
to it. I mean, love him or hate him, he's Jamie.
We all have our faults, and at least Jamie...
Jamie admits up to each and every single one of his.
And at least he's always entertaining when he shows up.
Yes.
Oh, without a doubt.
You always get your money's worth with Jamie.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I did some research on you, JP. I don't know if I'm supposed to call you JP or Jeremiah. I've always known you as JP.
That's fine.
Okay. Pretty decorated career so far.
I've done a few things.
A few things. I mean, you made it all the way to Australia. How was that?
That was fantastic. That was my first and right now only international tour, and I had a blast doing that. I would love to go back. Australia's a beautiful country.
How did that kind of take place?
You always hear the saying, always treat people good.
Right.
The Australians that I ended up working for run All Action Wrestling in Perth, which is on the western side of the country. And they happened to be doing an American tour. And they had hit me up on Facebook about some bookings when they came through Tennessee. I had hooked them up with one or two. And while they were in town, I was like, well, hey, guys, since you're in Nashville, never been here before, let me show you downtown. So we went out downtown. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It wasn't as crazy as their next trip over, but they had a good time.
Yeah.
They had a good time. And when they got back in country, they just kept hitting me up, and they really appreciated that I treated them well. They said they went to Hawaii, Philly. They went to a lot of different places, and they said that everyone was just kind of fucking assholes to them. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I treated somebody nice, and we ended up getting a network out of it, a relationship out of it, and they ended up bringing me over this past November.
Wow, so that's pretty recent.
Yeah,
about a year ago, man.
Yep, almost right after a year ago. Yeah, it was November 1st was the date I worked for them.
Wow, I still thought we were in October for a second. So I was like, about a year ago.
Time is flying.
Yeah. So, did I read right? NWA Australian Heavyweight Champion, or
yes, they had come over last year, and I had wrestled Chris Target, who was the Australian Heavyweight Champion at the time. They had put the belt on me in hopes of me getting the belt a little notoriety in the States. Mm-hmm. So then when I came back and dropped it, it would have a little more behind it.
Okay, so where did you win that in the States? Was that?
It was supposed to be up at NWA Saw. The week prior, TJ Weatherby, who
lights got cut off.
No. That's a different story we're telling off the air. No, TJ actually he was hospitalized, so the show was canceled. He actually eventually ended up passing away. So we had got last second Shane Morton, who runs Columbia. Well, it's not currently active, but Columbia Wrestling Alliance had hit me up and asked if we wanted to do the title defense there. Mm-hmm. And we jumped at it, got everything approved, and we went out there and did it there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it almost didn't happen, but luckily it did.
So it just shows that if you treat people right, it can pay off.
Karma.
And you get to go to Australia.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you do any of the super touristy stuff? Did you hang out with kangaroos or anything like that?
We did go to the Perth Zoo, yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, hung out with kangaroos, held a snake, which was miserable.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
I hate snakes. Yeah, there's a picture floating around on Facebook of them. They're like, smile for this camera, and like the snake's wrapping around my neck. God. And it's not even a big snake. It's it's maybe 5 feet long. Man, and the girl's like, oh, even if he tried, he couldn't, choke you out. But you're feeling the muscles contract around your neck. This is all
foreign to somebody who doesn't put snakes on their neck.
and I'm freaking out. And then they have a peacock that's not in a cage, mm-hmm. So the peacock's just kind of walking out. Well, the peacock sees the snake, and I'm looking at the peacock, and the peacock like throws up the big tail or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I see the peacock freaking out, so I'm freaking out, and I'm like, get this thing off me, please.
Like a shitty chain reaction about to happen.
Yeah.
I got a pretty good peacock story actually. It doesn't have anything to do with wrestling or anything, but anytime I get to tell this story, I enjoy it.
Enjoy a good peacock tail.
I was at my cousin's house when I was in probably elementary school, and he was all excited. They had a farm and everything. He goes, "You ever seen a peacock before in person?" I was like, "No, Justin, I ain't ever seen one." He goes, "Let's go." Takes us out to the animals. He gets about 5 steps ahead of me. He goes, "Oh, I look, peacock's dead. You ever seen a dead peacock before? It's the most depressing thing you've ever seen in your life. Just this beautiful blue bird just sprawled out on the ground." It was the worst thing I'd ever witnessed as a kid. Uh-huh. So every time somebody talks about peacocks, all I see is just this dead animal in my eyes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was morbid.
Yeah, look, if you hear any stories from me, they usually end with someone dying or something depressing happening with some sort of weird anecdote.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you got any peacock stories?
No.
None for the podcast.
What about stories of things randomly dying?
Yeah, any of those?
No.
You said you've been on the
Nothing
road.
could top that.
I'll save one for every podcast. We'll be here.
Chris Wilkins' death story of the day. So, Buzz, you said you hit the roads for a while.
Yeah.
Where all did you end up going?
I traveled up north a little bit. I actually moved to Evansville in 2006, Evansville, Indiana. Ran that show for about 4 years.
Was that Bert's show? Or
No, that was a show at the Coliseum.
Okay.
It was a show that's actually, they've been wrestling in that building for over 73 years.
Wow.
That's the Jarretts used to run it. It used to be on the loop from Memphis.
Okay.
That was always a pay town. That's
Okay.
where the guys would get paid there. But so just trying to keep that tradition alive in that building till about 2010, and then it was time. Everything runs its course,
Right.
and it was time to go. And I moved back down here, and 2012? Yeah,
Sounds about right.
2012, and just now I got back into wrestling.
Okay.
I went and joined the circus for years, So that was fun.
You mean wrestling's not the circus?
Well,
Pretty close.
pretty close, yes.
Cousins.
Yeah.
So,
And he's not joking. He really did
did,
join the
yeah,
circus.
yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't him
okay,
being
that
funny.
was a
No.
shoot. All right.
What,
Yeah.
what were you doing at the circus?
I was a marketing director for Cole Brothers Circus.
Okay.
It's give them a little plug here.
Go for it.
It's the largest circus under the original Big Top.
Okay. That's awesome.
Their tent is over a football field long, and it's amazing. There's over 94 people working, and it's a traveling. You talk about family. Circus is family.
So how did you get involved with the circus?
Bill Dundee and Randy Hales.
There you go.
I knew Bill. He was a marketing director for them, and I lost a job, and everything, and
Right.
kind of reached out. I brought up Jamie earlier, but that's because Jamie is one of my closest friends.
Right.
So I was sitting at his house one day and talking, and and Jamie was like, "Well, fuck, Buzzy, you could do that, And I was like, "Really? You think so?" He's like, "Yeah." So I said, "Call your dad," So I called and talked to Bill, and Bill set me up, and I was gone for about 6-7 months.
Man.
Traveling. It was good. Got to see some places I didn't. Spent 2 months in New York, which was just absolutely fabulous.
That's incredible.
Yeah, on somebody else's dime, which is
Yeah.
even better.
That's the best they could possibly get.
Which part of New York? New York City or?
I was about an hour north of the city in the Middletown, Monticello area.
Okay.
Fishkill in that area. So, yeah, I stayed up there for about 2 months, from March till June.
Right on.
That's probably a good time to be there too.
Yeah.
Once it gets a little bit warmer and everything.
Yeah.
So it won't be so
I did
miserable.
not realize there was black bears there. And
Yeah, I didn't either.
I was talking to one of my sponsors for the show, and she was like, "Look what was at my front door," and showed me a picture of this big ass black bear. And I was like, "You got bears up here?" Yeah. Where do you live? About 5 minutes down the road, and my hotel's right there. Great.
Like I'm doing a big ass black bear outside the door.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We don't like snakes or bears on the Kick Out at 2 podcast.
Yeah, no
They
bears.
can all go somewhere else.
This is the phobia podcast. We're talking,
Yeah.
I don't like spiders, so
Oh, I'm cool with spiders. I'll step on spiders all day, but
yeah.
snakes and bears I can't take.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't go near a bear, but bears don't really freak me out or anything.
I thought you
don't
had a
like-
sad bear story for
Yeah,
a minute.
I was really sad about that one.
No sad bear stories.
Don't kill bears.
I don't like bats either. I don't.
What about Batman?
Batman's cool, but bats flying at you.
All right, so right now you're doing SWF on Fridays. You said you're doing Alabama, correct?
I did Alabama a couple weeks ago. I don't have anything lined up in Alabama for the rest of the year as of now.
Okay.
But I've got Corbin, Kentucky for a company called Pro Wrestling Revolution.
Okay.
I'm actually coming up this weekend, which I don't know when this will air. So
probably out Thursday.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we go
yeah,
Thursday,
this
so yeah, this last
this
Plug
Saturday,
away.
this Saturday, if you're in Corbin, Kentucky, Pro Wrestling Revolution, I'll be taking on Ryan Dookie. Yes, his last name is Dookie.
Man.
But I work for a company called Proving Ground Pro in Illinois. Company called New South Championship Wrestling. They run all throughout Kentucky. And I still do some stuff with NWA Saw,
Okay.
Which is a local NWA affiliate here in Middle Tennessee.
Have they kind of slowed down a little bit, or have they been doing about the same lately? I haven't heard as much from.
They're not doing the weekly TV tapings anymore.
Yeah.
With the death of TJ, they kept it going for probably 2 or 3 months, and then they decided it would be best to do monthly or semi-monthly shows, and then get the TVs from those, as well as they have kind of a partnership with New South Championship Wrestling, so they do some of their taping at their events.
Okay.
And they've actually changed channels. They're now on the local
UPN.
Is it still UPN? Is that what it's called? Whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
My 30.
Yeah.
My 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they used to be on CW58, but now they're on the local channel 30 station.
Right on.
Yeah.
So, current reigning SWF heavyweight champion.
SWF heavyweight champion as of, I think, 2 months ago, something like that.
You got that from Brett Eisen.
Yes, sir. Yes, I did.
So what's going on at SWF for you?
Well, it seems I've been we've had the traveling challengers coming in. We've been bringing in a whole bunch of different guys to wrestle, try to take that belt away from me. I've wrestled Chase Owens, who's currently over in New Japan as a member of the Bullet Club.
Yeah,
wow.
That was a big announcement. They just talked about him.
Yeah, just happened,
Yeah.
I think, last week.
Yeah.
Me and Chase been keeping in contact. He's having a real good time over there. Me, Buzzy, and former guest on your show, Kerry Awful, and his partner, Nick Iggy, are in a big group, the Woodrow Foundation, but we like to call ourselves the Tennessee Chain Gang. Because as much as we love Marcus Woodrow, who's our manager, and he's a hell of a manager, Tennessee Chain Gang just sounds better.
Yeah.
I actually just got a friend
sell
request
better
from Marcus
shirts.
Woodrow on Facebook today.
Yeah, great guy.
Marcus Woodrow's fantastic, and that guy's got stories because he's been
Yeah.
around since the late 80s.
So there's your guest.
Yeah,
guys.
we'll
Yeah.
we'll
That would
get
be
him
great.
on here soon, then.
So, tell me how the the Carnies came about. I know how the Carney started, but how did this Carney?
Yeah, I was about to say
start?
Buzzy would have to talk about the carnies, but in wrestling, there's something called being a carny, which is shicing people out of money if you can. And wrestling's changed. Back in the old days, there was a secret handshake, which is this little light 2-fingered handshake, and stuff like that. And the whole two carny thing is it's not a spoof, but it is a spoof because nobody does it anymore. So it became the perfect time for a gimmick to be done out of it. So we saw the rise of the Too Sweet again.
Yep.
So it all really just started as a joke. We made T-shirts with the two carny and the 2-finger handshake on it, and it kind of just exploded from there. So we made a gimmick, especially when we go up north, of being those Southern carnies who do all the old Tennessee high spots like the Tennessee water pump, and
I know Carrie loves this shit.
Oh,
Loves it.
it's fantastic. Using a chain. Nobody up north uses a chain. They're
Right.
kicking out pile drivers off the top rope. Screw that. Chain, powder, throw a fireball.
Yep.
We do as much carny stuff as we can.
It's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, and they don't see that, so it's totally new for them up there.
Down here we get wrestling. We get
Yeah. So
wrestling.
I guess that's the thing. We're bringing a little wrestling outside of Tennessee.
It's a nice change of pace. You know. I didn't really appreciate much wrestling when I was a kid, but now it's a nice, slow, steady match. It's good.
Yeah, you get tired of all the high spots every 2 seconds.
Yeah,
I think in a wrestling match you can tell a better story.
I agree.
Yeah.
You have more time to tell the story.
And that's the thing we've talked about on here before is wrestling. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy seeing stuff, but the high spots and the big, action things. But I like for there to be a meaning behind a match.
Yeah.
And so it's just, if you're going out there doing spot after spot after spot, what's the point?
Tell me why you're doing that spot.
Yeah,
Tell
it's
me
like
why you're in that sequence.
I don't want to see a 40-minute, headlock, but I also don't want to see a guy do 16 Hurricane Ranas in a row and the guy not sell it and not be scrambled in the brains and then just keep going. It doesn't make sense. So, it's good to take.
You need that balance.
You need the balance, and it's good to take the old ways and mesh them into the new too.
Yeah.
Especially when what's old is new again in today's, wrestling climate.
Yeah,
So
without a doubt, me and Buzzy both love the new stuff too. I mean, we just got done watching PWG Bola. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
PWG's got some of the best stuff out right now.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're talking about high spots, that's PWG.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they employ the Young Bucks. They employ Ricochet. You know, they employ all the guys who do the craziest high spots.
But even when they do it, it makes sense when they're doing it too. It's not just
sometimes.
Yeah. Not
but
always.
they know their audience.
Yeah.
They know, and that's something that me and Buzzy have had this conversation a lot on the road. Is some of these younger guys, some of the guys I've trained down at SWF, don't understand working for your audience.
Right.
Some audiences want you to go out there and be like, "Hey, sit down and shut up." They just want that. They want the interaction.
Yep.
Other audiences want to see someone get dropped on their head. Well, if that's the case, do that.
Yep.
But you just got to feel them out at the beginning. That's the whole beginning of the match, is the feeling out process.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you can't call from A to Z, because you don't know what they want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of that.
They might want hot dogs and you're feeding them steak.
Yep.
Well, sometimes they just want a hot dog.
Yep.
That's kind of the problem with televised wrestling nowadays, with the way it's so scripted. In terms, the audience doesn't always get what they're there to see, and I think that's why in like WWE and stuff, there's such a backlash from the crowd, is because nobody knows how to work a match anymore. They're not
working the people around them. They're working that TV.
Yeah, they're working the TV, and they're working what they were told to do ahead of time. And if something goes wrong, they don't know what to do. And that's pretty frustrating. And that's from a person who's never wrestled a match, understanding that that's what's going on. So it has to be frustrating for those guys that have been there a while, that know what to do, and they just can't employ it because of for fear of job security and stuff like that.
So, if I'm not mistaken, recently I saw a picture of you in the car with Storm and, was it Crimson?
Yes.
Did you work for Crimson in Clarksville? Was that Crimson show, or was that?
It's not his show per se. He is heavily involved.
Okay.
He is heavily involved, as am I now, which is weird. But he, it's Tried and True Pro Wrestling in Clarksville, Tennessee. And we had a real good show. We had a real big show. They had, I think, over 700 at their last one. Real good talent. Half the roster's, TNA talent.
Right.
Their last one they had not James Storm. I'm sorry. The last one they had Eric Young.
Eric Young's always been super entertaining to me.
Oh, Eric's fantastic.
Back when he was Showtime and Team Canada.
Right. And he's a phenomenal heel now, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's so good. Let's see. They had Rebel.
Tracy Smothers.
Yeah, Smothers was there, my tag team partner, my mentor, Buzzy's mentor too.
Yeah, I love Smothers.
Can we get some good Smother stories out of you guys?
We're basically trying to get a Smothers story.
Yeah.
But Buzzy's been on the road with Smothers way more than I have. I've just had a lot of good interactions with him. Buzzy has plenty of them.
We want to get
I feel like we're slowly on the path to getting Tracy.
If he's ever on a local show and you want to do an interview with him, show up. We can get you an interview with Smothers, and it's fantastic.
Wait, isn't Foley's thing coming up? Isn't he on Foley's thing?
He might be on that.
He may be.
Saturday.
I will not be there.
But yeah, that's that big controversial show, I believe. With
that's with the other JP.
Yeah.
We try. I shot out a tweet to Foley. I was like, "Hey, you want to go on our podcast?" I figured you only live once. You might as well just ask him. He blew me off.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I knew he wouldn't talk to me. But
I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
What have you done if he just said, "Sure, kid"?
Exactly. I wasn't like, "Hey, come on our podcast." I was like, "If you don't mind, we'll be there, or we may be there." I don't know if we'll be there now if we're not getting to talk to Foley.
But there's Smothers and Ricky Morton will be there. So
Ricky Morton stories would be great too.
Yeah.
All right, I need a Smother story out of you, Buzzy.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. I was trying to sit here. Oh.
Chicken truck stop.
Yeah. So there's a going to Evansville. I used to it's funny. You meet Tracy at Evansville. To go to Evansville, we met at exit 35 on 24, which is the Jolton exit.
Okay.
At that McDonald's right there. We we sit there and get in the car and go. But right as you get into Hopkinsville, right there at 86, that Chevron right there, there's a Chevron.
Okay.
Tracy was dating he was dating someone there. He was dating the general manager there. So.
Just in case she listens.
Yeah. Her name was Sue, so we always called it. We got to stop at old Sue.
Okay.
So we stopped at Sue's, and you met at 3:00 in the afternoon, and you would be rolling back through at 2:00 that morning.
Okay.
So it was like Evansville was a 12-hour trip. for little to nothing, money. But it was a good time.
Right.
Party central. But
because like you said, that was the pay town, right?
Yeah, well, not for us at that time. This was it was the pay town with Jarrett.
Okay.
When Jarrett and them were running, when they were doing back in the good old days.
Right.
They would do Memphis and then Louisville and then Evansville and then back to Memphis. But so we would stop there every Wednesday. Every Wednesday we would stop there. Every Wednesday we would stop back. But the crazy thing is when we would stop back, you would walk in. And it'd be 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. All the food is done. Except there would be boxes of chicken. And it would say, do not throw away, save for Tracy. So we would stop there and wind up with 30 pieces of chicken every Wednesday.
God.
That's being a carny, boys. That's being a carny.
Yes. And it was all thanks to Tracy. I just drove. I didn't get none of the chicken.
Tracy ate 30 pieces of chicken.
Yeah. But that's probably one of the lighter ones.
Yeah, there's
one of the safer ones.
Yeah. That's when he said Ricky Morton stories. I know a lot, but I don't know how many I can tell on this.
That's what I was when you was asking. I thought they're fixing to ask me for some other story.
Oh yeah.
As long if you don't name names and as long as it's nothing racist, we don't care on here.
Right.
You can.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I can tell you a Ricky story that I was told by Pork Chop Cash. I don't know if you've ever heard of that guy out of Memphis. Black gentleman. He was in a tag team called the Bruise Brothers. It was him and Dream Machine Troy Graham, and I met him at a show. And I'm always big about if I meet a legend, I sit near them and just pick their mind.
Right.
So none of the young guys were sitting next to Pork Chop. Me and my partner at the time, Drew Haskins, are like, all right, here we go. Sit right next to him, start asking him questions. And he's great. He's sitting there and he's eating an entire box of Swiss cake rolls. First off, I'm like, wow, brother's got to be a diabetic. But he goes, boys, there's 2 things in life that'll kill you. What's that, Pork Chop? Pussy and Ricky Morton. I'm like, okay, I need to hear the story about Ricky. And he goes, all right. So they're working in Memphis. And they're just getting heat on Ricky Morton. Beating the shit out of Ricky Morton. And the people are starting to get up. All right, cool, good heat. People are starting to cross the barricade. All right, Ricky, we need you to fire back, man. People are getting too hot. No, a little more heat. Oh, okay. Heat. Now they're up at the ring apron.
Oh, God.
Ricky, we need you to fire back. The people are at the apron. No. More heat. Brother starts getting in the ring. Ricky, fire back. They're getting in the ring.
Oh, my God.
And no, more heat. Finally, they throw Ricky down. Tell Robert, block the punch and give me one. Robert hits and the people sit back down. And he's like, Ricky would always wait until they get closer and closer because he wanted to see how close they would get from the heat. He's like, there's no telling how many times Ricky Morton about got me killed.
I heard recently they just did they did SWF not too long ago, and a couple other shows, and I don't remember who I was talking to, but even to this day, I heard Ricky just loves taking heat. Yeah. Just loves it.
Oh, without a doubt.
Personally, I loved it too. It's the easiest thing for me.
That's the formula, man, and they understand the formula. Robert's the hot tag guy, Ricky's the heat guy, and Robert has such a fiery hot tag. Yeah. And Ricky's it's neck and neck with Ricky Morton and Ricky Steamboat on who's the best selling babyface on the planet. Right. And it's right there. And Ricky to this day, still takes great heat, still works hard. Yeah. So
the match with IOU at SWF a couple months ago, it was
really good.
Yeah, it was very entertaining. They played it all up great. It was
yeah, Ricky loves taking heat. He loves getting people fired up.
I don't remember who was telling me that, but yeah, I thought that sounded about right, and your story definitely confirmed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ricky
He's a trip too, man.
Oh, I can only imagine, especially with the shit that he's seen.
Oh yes,
the time that he's put in.
Oh, and I can't tell half the stories that he's been involved in.
We'll have to try to get him on here.
Oh yeah,
try to get some of those stories out of him. So yeah, what do you got going on? You said you're pretty much booked out for the rest of the year, right?
My December is pretty slow, but I'm okay with that because I need some time to spend around family. But yeah, I've got Kentucky, I've got some Illinois, and I've actually got Pennsylvania the day after Thanksgiving. Okay. So yeah, I'm relatively booked up throughout the rest of the year, as busy as I want to be.
Right.
Busy as I want to be.
For the end of the year, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm accepting bookings for 2016, and hopefully it'll pick up. We'll see. Right. I've got some stuff already, but it's not. It's hard. You normally don't get stuff this early for the next year, right. But some stuff will start popping up.
Reach out and try to get it knocked out while you can.
Yeah.
Confirmed. It's smart booking. Go ahead and book yourself up for the year.
Yeah.
So Is there anywhere you're trying to hit, like, within the next year?
Well, the first thing I'm trying to do is just get really good back in ring shape. Like, I feel good,
right?
But I could always feel better. I want to go to Japan. That's always been my biggest goal.
Right.
So hopefully that'll happen at some point. I'd like to go back to Australia. After I got hurt, I got hit up from a guy in Canada, but obviously wasn't able to make it because I was, laid up on the couch with my arm in a sling. So hopefully that guy will hit me back up, and I'll be able to go and knock Canada off the list.
Trying to see the world.
Yeah, trying to see the world on someone else's dime. That's exactly what I'm trying to do.
Can't blame me there.
No.
That's the dream, really.
And I don't want to join the circus. So
No.
You have any great circus stories? Like, I've just been wondering, like, anything crazy happen at the circus besides bears?
Well, my job was kind of boring.
Okay.
I was in the town a month before the circus got there.
Okay.
So I only seen the circus people, like, depending on if I had 2 nights or 3.
Okay.
So they would, I'd spend the whole month making sure all the advertising was good to go and talking to the people, just talking up the circus. So, no, not really.
This is why he should be a promoter. On somebody else's dime. If we can find a money mark, brother should be a promoter.
Yeah, grassroots, guys, grassroots. Yeah. That's what it's all about. You got to get out and talk to the people, no matter what you're promoting. Period.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's
you got to build that base up.
Yeah,
we're getting flyers made for the podcast just to get people. Yeah,
that's right. You got to do what you got to do. I mean, you could have Jesus Christ book, but if nobody knows he's there, then ain't nobody coming.
You're right.
Dutchism.
Dutch
Mantel.
Hey,
Dutch Mantel. I've heard that 1,000 times.
Dutch and Tracy have been reoccurring like themes on our podcast. It's been great.
It's
one of them will eventually be on here.
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards Tracy.
Yeah, Tracy will be first. I'm telling
Tracy
you right now.
First,
Tracy will be first.
Well, hell, Dutch is back with WWE right now, so he's probably got a pretty hefty schedule anyways. So you said you worked with OVW for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
How was that working there? Do you like Louisville? Because I know it's kind of a hit or miss kind of place to be.
Well, I mean, I didn't live there, obviously. I made the commute. It was really good for me because, so not to let the OVW business out, but I will. The people who are uncontracted up there don't make any money.
Oh, okay.
So I was uncontracted, so I wasn't getting paid. However, I was riding up with friends of mine who were contracted, Sam Shaw and Crimson. Mm-hmm. So I had my trans paid for. I never lost any money going up there. So it was literally a free opportunity to go and be seen.
Exposure.
Yeah. So, yes, I learned a lot. Now, some of the guys who were up there not getting paid, paying for training through OVW school, didn't care for me. So, some of them did. Some of them really liked me. Right. Some of them didn't care for me. So I could feel the locker room heat. Mm-hmm. Didn't bother me. Right. I could give a shit less, but I could feel it, and I knew it was there. So once whole reason it ended, we Crimson at the time was doing a gimmick called the Coalition, which was a bunch of army-based guys, and they had approached me about doing a kind of comedy character, like Private Pile.
Okay.
So
that's a pretty good gimmick.
Because I wasn't contracted or anything. I was an underneath guy. I won a couple times, but not a lot.
Right.
Just enough to keep me where I wasn't a job boy. And but when I was on TV, I'd always lose. So they were going to do the deal to where, hey, we really like you. We're trying to recruit new people for our army. Would you like to join? Oh yeah, I would. Well, all these guys are jacked up. I'm fat and stuff like that. So we were going to get like a too small army sweatshirt and like too small army shorts. And like during the matches, they'd make me do squats and stuff like that. Like we had this whole thing planned out, and it would eventually end with me getting tired of being bullied, fire back on them, babyface. I got approached by Trailer Park Trash, who was kind of like second in command to Danny Davis up there at the time, and he's like, "Listen, you have to come to the house shows if you're going to be." If you're going to work on the TV. I'm like, and at the time, I had literally quit my corporate job to work in a gym so I could make all the OVW shows.
Right.
And so I could devote my time to that. So I took literally over a 50% pay cut. I went from making about $14 an hour to making about $7.50.
Right. Just to have the time.
Yeah, just to have the time and the opportunity. So I go, okay, that's fine. How many do I need? Well, first off, what do they pay? Well, they don't. Okay. So I was supplementing my income with professional wrestling at the time.
Right.
Besides OVW, where I wasn't getting paid, I was going elsewhere and getting paid.
Right.
And getting paid decent. And so I'm like, all right, well, maybe I can swing it. How many do I have to be at? Well, you have to be at least one a week. And I'm like, Trash, there's no way I can swing this. You know what I mean? And he's like, well, that's the rules. That's the rules. And,
kind of sounds like the deck was stacked against you.
Yeah. So shortly after that, like I was already telling Crimson and Sam that I couldn't do it. Shortly after that was when Crimson got released. Now he's since been re-signed, but he got released, so they weren't going up there anyway.
Right.
So it was no sweat off my neck when I didn't go back up either.
Yeah, you got the exposure while I was there.
Yeah, I
didn't lose any money
got
for it.
The little bit I needed. So yeah, no, that's what it came down to.
I don't think wrestling fans really know the sacrifices that wrestlers go through. Like, you really do have to sacrifice, money for time or vice versa. I mean, really, like, you just proved that quitting your corporate job, probably making, really good money.
Decent, about 13, 14 at that time.
To work at a gym just so you could go wrestle for OVW, which wasn't going to pay. But,
right, but it was an opportunity at the time.
Exactly. And one thing that I've learned over the past, I haven't wrestled in a long time, but just hanging out with Carrie every day, 9 times out of 10 you're going to get one or the other, and it's going to be money or exposure. Mm-hmm. And one of them is going to help you more than the other one. You just you got to be smart about which one you pick.
Yeah, and there's some bookings that you'll get neither.
Yeah.
And those are the bookings that I've learned. I used to just like to stay busy. And now I want to either get money or exposure out of it. Right. It's one of the two.
Right.
One of the two, money or exposure.
Yeah. It's really all you can ask for is money or exposure. And at this point, with the way the wrestling business is, where WWE is working with Evolve, and there's just seem to be more super indies than there have been in the past few years, it seems like exposure is the way to go. Because exposure will lead you to the money eventually,
right?
If you're persistent,
right? You just have to be able. You have to be able to offer me one or the other, or I'm not interested. You know what I mean?
You've been doing this for a while now. About how long?
I passed 10 years in July.
Wow.
Yeah. How does that make you feel, Buzzy?
Very open.
Since you trained me.
When did you break in, Buzzy?
Early 2000 or mid 2000.
Okay.
And I took about 2 years off when I moved to Evansville, and just kind of took some time off for the family and shit.
Right.
So about mid 2000. Right
on. You got anything you want to plug? I know you're a Strong Style guy.
Yeah, I'm sponsored by Strong Style Wear. That's strongstylebrand.com. They have some cool merch there. Got some stuff that directly supports me at Pro Wrestling Tees. That's prowrestlingtees.com/untouchables. That was my tag team at the time, and you can't change the URL. So strongstyle.com/untouchables. Buzzy, you want to tag up Be the Untouchables so I can keep using that name? You can find me on Twitter at Plunkitis. Oh, yeah, we do have the tag name, Rat Patrol.
Wow. Well, what's this Buffet Busters I saw?
Buffet Busters?
I think that was Flint.
Was that Flint?
Oh, that's Flint and Byford.
Okay.
Yeah. Which, honestly, that was a nickname at one point for Jablonski and Quentin Charisma when they tagged up. Yeah. I don't think that was their official name. I just think that's what everybody called them.
The Buffet Busters.
Because at the time, Mike Jablonski, because he's someone who likes to fluctuate in weight, he was quite the hefty guy. And Quentin's always been quite the hefty guy.
Man, I remember Quentin back when I was training, and he came out, I don't remember who he was with, but he came out, and it was a hell of a learning experience just talking to him. He's a great guy.
Very smart.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Very over the top, if I remember correctly.
And a 400-pound guy who can throw a drop kick.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
Yeah. He taught me how to throw a drop kick.
Hey, that insecurity ain't no joke.
Yeah. I don't doubt it.
It's made me see stars a couple
That's why I tagged with him. I never had to take it.
Who did he tag with?
Was it Dieter Brock?
Maybe.
Dude in like jean shorts and...
No, I feel like they used to wear matching singlets.
It might have been Mike Jablonski.
It may have been Jablonski.
It was Mike Rage at the time.
That sounds more familiar.
Or Rajay when he was French Canadian.
Rajay.
I tagged with Rage too when I first.
You tagged with Rage? I thought that was another guy.
No, that was the other guy.
Yeah, the Southern Hillbilly.
He died.
R.I.P. Southern Hillbilly.
Yeah, he looked a lot like Buzz Dupp.
Little bit.
Often imitated, never duplicated.
Now, do you like tag wrestling better or singles?
Well, no, you never tagged with Drew Haskins. We were busy. We were busy a lot. There's a whole lot of different stories that you can tell with tag wrestling. So I definitely enjoy the art of tag wrestling. I will say it is very difficult to be a tag team and maintaining a tag team.
Yeah.
And get it booked.
Well, it's kind of like being in a band. So many different, things coming in there.
And I mean, it's easier to get a promoter to pay a decent price for one guy than a decent price for both guys to come in. Me and Drew stayed relatively busy, but it was definitely more difficult getting bookings for two guys than one. But I definitely enjoyed my time with Drew Haskins a lot. The Untouchables, we ended way too soon, but I understand why Drew's gone. He's got a little girl on the way. He wants to be able to dedicate time to that. So
gotta live that dad life.
Yeah, he's gone for a good reason, but I miss him. I miss him a lot.
So, can we talk about Last Gasses?
Sure, I don't care.
Okay. Do you remember much about that?
I mean, I've had quite a few concussions, but I remember some.
Yeah, that was, I remember that ring. What, was that in your backyard or was that in the woods?
What he saw? I used to backyard wrestle. Sin. No, I used to backyard wrestle. As did Jesse. And we crossed paths a time or two. And yeah, I had a ring built out in Las Casas. And it was a decent ring. It's better than some. Better than some backyard wrestlers I've seen.
Yeah.
It was pretty stiff though.
Yeah.
But yeah, we ran that for a couple years before I got pro training, and actually did a couple events after I got pro training. But Buzzy knew
I was supposed to come work for you guys.
Yes. No, there's a story. There's a story. I'll tell this one. So
Open up a can of worms.
We're backyard wrestling, and Chris Norte had hit up. We were all fans
You
of.
dropped out of my training school, fucking pussy.
But so NWA main event. As Jesse, me and Jesse were talking, we're both big fans of it as the local promotion around town, and a young man named Buzz Dupp wrestled there, and Norte liked to shoot for the stars, and he had hit up Buzz Dupp about coming and working for our backyard promotion.
Awesome.
I don't know any of the discussion if Norte was going to pay him.
It was with that Paloma chick too. She was the one that hit me up too. She really put you guys over.
Please tell me this was on AOL Instant Messenger, because I remember talking to so many pro wrestlers on AOL Instant Messenger.
That would have been around the AOL Instant Messenger time.
Maybe I can't remember, but yeah, it was.
Knowing Norte's status with the ladies, he probably had Paloma wrapped around his little finger or big. Anyway, but
she was weird, guys.
Yeah, she was a strange one. I only met her once or twice. She was weird.
She said she was a real witch. So I tried to stay away.
I thought for the best.
Right.
But
I mean, this is how stupid she was. They were working. She was I forget who she was managing. I think she was managing Jammer and his tag partner. I can't
Slammer?
remember. No.
No, legit. That was tag team.
I know,
Okay.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
But, I can't remember his tag partner. It was either Vicious Vandy or it was Mikey, or it was Mike Woods. I can't remember. But they were working a deal with the Devil's Disciples.
Mm-hmm. Was that Ernesto and...
No, it was Dante and Damien.
Yeah.
And
That Damien guy's old.
yeah, he's old. He's old. But I love him. That's another mentor. But so Damien jokingly told her the finish was they were going to throw fire on her, and she said, "Well, how do you do that?" And he said, in typical Damien fashion, said, "Oh, we're just going to pour gasoline on you and light you on fire." And this ignorant girl goes, "Okay, cool."
Oh,
so that's how stupid she was.
She was going to get lit on fire with gasoline.
Yeah, she was down for it, but
when you're done, I have a great gasoline story.
No, I'm done.
Okay.
I may have told you this gasoline story, but the listeners haven't heard it.
You know about this one?
Is the guy's name ironically Torch?
Oh, it sure is.
Oh, yes, I've heard this.
But go.
I
Okay.
haven't heard this
All right.
story, so I'm
Man,
excited.
this story's made its rounds. That's impressive.
I was training over at Chris Kane's house, and he showed me the video.
Oh,
That's how I heard about this story.
All right, so way back when, after we were trained professionally and decided to go back to the yard, which is a no-no.
Less money, but less politics.
Yeah, well, it depends on who you work for. Surprisingly, backyardists can have a giant head. We were involved with this guy named Torch Hudson. I'm not going to directly say how, but
Why, you got daddy issues?
maybe I do, JP. Maybe I do. Cuts deep, brother. All right, he was dating my mom, and we'll just let it all out.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't tell you that part, did I?
No.
Sorry.
Talk about a carny. Dating my mom, and he may have also dipped into the backyard a few times. Not Torch. I don't remember the match we were having, but he used to work at a door factory. And
He tells it so much better than me.
just because I know all the little details, after all the concussions, I still remember every detail of this story. He would fuck up the doors. If the doorknobs were off just a centimeter, they couldn't use them, so he'd bring them home. We'd use them as tables. So we're brawling on the outside of the homemade ring that we made, which JP's ring was the inspiration for that one.
So yours was really stiff, too?
Oh god, it was made out of telephone poles, tires, and plywood. God, it felt like shit. So he brings home all these doors, and we're brawling on the outside, and he picks up the can of lighter fluid, and he's trying to pour it on the door, and he runs out. And we're brawling back and forth, and he says, "Cut me off and go get the gasoline." I said, "Willie, we don't have gasoline." He said, "Well, just go get the gas can." So I think I DDT'd him or power drove him or something, enough for him to just lay out back when those moves still kind of meant something even in the yard.
No. Pile driver. Just enough for him to lay there for a minute.
Right?
Yeah.
So, that's just a preface what was about to happen. I had no idea. So I go and get it. He cuts me off, and as soon as I come back with the diesel fuel can, just douses the door in diesel fuel. No sooner he puts the lighter to it, I swear to God, I've never seen so much fire in my life in person.
Now, this is from me seeing the video. The smoke was black.
Oh, yeah. And it was hot as fuck.
Anyone who's seen a wrestling table caught on fire, guess what color the smoke's not supposed to be? Black.
Yeah. This is the shit you're not supposed to do. So he says, "Put me through the table."
Okay.
I'm smart enough to realize that I'm not going through this. He wanted me to suplex him, so I, as Brett would call it, lazy suplexed him, picked him up, and just dropped him. The door just shatters, and I swear to God, the flames probably went 20 feet high. No bullshit. You saw the tape. They went pretty damn high.
It was pretty high.
This dude decides not to stop, drop, and roll. Everybody was yelling. He's running around the house, just taking off clothes.
This is in a neighborhood.
Oh, with
guys.
people all around. We used to do pretty good for backyard shows. If we would have sold tickets, we probably could have made a pretty decent dime. Yeah.
Well, I'd pay to watch the guy set himself on fire with diesel fuel, too.
He ended up getting second-degree burns, surprisingly.
My favorite part of that video is him running and Chris Kane chasing him with a squirt bottle. That's
the
going to
part
do
that
it.
I always forget. I remember Chris, just stop, drop, and roll. Dude, he's gone. He's already down by the road.
Why hasn't this made it to YouTube yet?
I've got it on tape.
You need
I just
to-
need
you
to.
need to
I need to
conform.
convert
You
it.
have it on... What?
I'll find it.
When we get the Kick
That's
Out
some
at 2
TMZ
website
shit.
up, when we get the Kick Out at 2 website up,
Yeah.
that's going to be
Clip
one of the
of the
first
day.
things.
I've got a
Yeah.
VHS to DVD converter at the house, I'm just saying.
Sounds like
there
we're
we
hanging
go.
out real soon. We're about to get rich. Backyard wrestling will be revived.
God. Well, we're running a little short on time, so this was fun. This went by really quick.
You had to get your Peacock story in.
Gotta get shit in.
We'll have you back, and we'll just do depressing stories. You just go back and think.
Oh, I'm in indie wrestling. I got plenty of those.
We'll have a second episode where it's just we do a disclaimer. I can tell y'all some stories. I know.
I opened my envelope one
I've
time.
seen some dark shit, brother.
You got an envelope? I got a shotgun pulled on me. That's shoot. Listen to the first episode.
Yeah.
I will go back and listen to this.
So, or that was the second episode.
No, it's first with Carrie.
I thought it was with Jason.
No, okay, you're right.
yeah.
It was with Jason.
So,
Listen to
second
both
episode.
of them.
Yeah, we'll listen to both of them. And all you out there that are new to the show, listen to
to everything that's on here, and subscribe on iTunes, and also go follow these fine fellas on. Do you have any social media, Buzz?
I do have Facebook. That's
Facebook.
Yeah.
Anywhere, what can they find you as if you want them to find you?
Just.
If you can find him, good luck.
He hasn't made a wrestling Facebook yet, guys. So one of those will be up soon. We'll work on that.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
He's not on the Twitter machine yet.
No.
No Twitter gimmick for Buzz.
I do good to keep up with the one Facebook page I have. So,
All right. JP running his Buzz Dupp's promoter right now.
I'm doing my best. Yeah, I'm doing my best.
Booking agent.
And, He's expensive. I'm on Facebook. It's Jeremiah Plunkett, professional wrestler. Because that's my fan page because my personal page is full.
Right.
But my Twitter handle is Plunkitis, as well as my Instagram handle. And if you want to hit me up on Snapchat, ladies, hit me up and I'll give you the old snap chisel.
Wow.
This morning, Will screenshot. Just saying.
Oh man.
And let's just say once again that Plunkitis is still better than Nick Iggy's poor social media names that he needs to get changed. I still can't remember.
Oh, is it like it's like Iggy Ends? It's terrible.
We're campaigning to get him to change it on the Kick Out at 2 podcast.
He needs to. He definitely needs to.
Actually, we're just campaigning to get him down here because I'm pretty sure I've known the guy for a few years and only seen him twice in person. So
you can show up at SWF. You never know when Nick Iggy's going to be there.
Oh wait, 3 times.
3 times.
3 times. Twice at SWF. One. No, not Crossfire. Somewhere. Him and
Crossfire.
Him and Kerry wrestled Grandmaster Sexay and Hammerjack, I think.
That's Slam Fest in Cookeville.
My buddy Danny and I walked in. No sooner we walked in, a chick passed out.
Oh,
called an ambulance. We thought she was dead. In the line to meet Scott Hall and Kevin Nash.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I met the outsiders, I might pass out.
Someone might.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good time.
Before we go, I just have to say that Snapchat part was probably my favorite part. That was great.
Yeah,
I wish I had thought of that.
Yeah, we've had a good time here. We'll catch you guys later on the Kick Out at 2 podcast.